what is going on? She's just deleted her Twitter. She's getting called out because it was exposed, because an interview got brought up.
What in the world is happening inside the Indiana Fever front office?
I'm not joking when I say this. Something's gone weirdly wrong. Like, we hired a freaking chronically online GM.
Just hours after Caitlin Clark went viral for a cryptic interview, the team's president, Kelly Kroskoff, suddenly deleted her entire social media presence. No statement, no clarification, just gone. Fans are stunned and furious. Why? Because Clark, the rookie who's changed the WNBA forever, might have just exposed what's really going on behind the scenes.
I have said before, and I will say it again, Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Kroskoff, the Indiana Fever president, they were not ready. Now, Christine Brennan in her book confirmed the WNBA and the Indiana Fever did not realize what they were about to get themselves into with drafting Caitlin Clark, because the popularity they weren't prepared for and didn't see coming.
This isn't just another press conference or soundbite. This is a full-blown crisis unfolding in real time. What started as a comment spiraled into national backlash, deleted accounts, and a firestorm on social media. And we've got the full story, from the Apple comparison to the locker room tension that may have finally exploded.
Yes, Stephanie White, every single solitary move that you make is going to be scrutinized. Welcome to it. Right here.
Let's rewind. It all started when Fever president Kelly Kroskoff made a now infamous comment comparing her team to Apple. She said, "We want the Fever to be like Apple," but fans didn't hear innovation. They heard disrespect, especially when it seemed like Clark was being cast as a mere iPhone case, not the iPhone. That line sent WNBA Twitter into a frenzy, and instead of clarifying or apologizing, Kroskoff vanished. Her official X account? Deleted. No press release. No context. Just a disappearing act that only made things worse. To fans, it felt like betrayal. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's the reason for sellouts, record ratings, and national buzz. And now, her own team's president is minimizing her role. Something's off.
If I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing?
You said just go tomorrow. You're on the Las Vegas Strip. What
Yeah.
can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Within minutes, Clark supporters lit up social media like wildfire. They weren't just upset, they were outraged. Die-hard fans who followed Clark since Iowa now felt like the Fever were biting the hand that feeds them. "We literally hired a chronically online GM," one viral post read. Season ticket holders called it tone-deaf, while analysts began questioning if the Fever brass ever truly understood the storm Caitlin Clark would bring. Her face sells jerseys, packs arenas, and fuels national coverage. Yet the execs are trying to mold her into a quiet brand ambassador. Fans called it what it is, an identity crisis. And the silence from Kroskoff wasn't just bad optics. It confirmed suspicions that leadership was in panic mode.
It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul, and it was meant to send a message. It turned into a scuffle, and I don't think anybody wanted that. But the way that the game went and how egregious the referees were and how they were not protecting players, and they especially weren't protecting the number one player in this league, the biggest draw in this league, which is Caitlin Clark, and they continue to not do that. To me, this was not a dirty play. This was making a statement because the referees didn't do their damn job. This would not have happened at the end of the game if the referees did their job during the first play. If the referees did their job, not just the first play, every single play leading up to that. If the referees had control of the game, that is their only job. The referees' first job, their number one job, is to protect their players.
Like, I get it to it a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're going to treat them. But
Right.
There's just more for her.
Then, Sophie Cunningham entered the chat. On her podcast, Show Me Something, the Fever's toughest enforcer dropped verbal nukes. She didn't just back Caitlin, she went scorched earth on the entire narrative. She called out the haters, the downplayers, even the front office. "You're literally dumb," she said, 3 times. Her words hit like a punch. But this wasn't impulsive. Insiders say Sophie planned that rant after hearing Kroskoff's Apple comparison. This was a calculated strike. And when Cunningham, who once got ejected defending Clark, speaks up, fans listen. The message? Caitlin isn't just a player. She's the franchise. And if the front office doesn't see that, Sophie sure does. This wasn't just support. This was war.
That we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, we have a real opportunity.
What Cunningham revealed next shocked even longtime fans. She claimed that some of the disrespect Caitlin faces isn't from opponents, but from inside the locker room. The rift between old-school vets and viral era stars is real, and Indiana may be ground zero. One source called Sophie's podcast a declaration of war. Another said the front office is trying to manage a cultural earthquake. While rookies like Clark are used to national media and millions of followers, many veterans still expect silence, hierarchy, and pay-your-dues mentalities. That clash is erupting now. Sophie isn't just defending Clark on court, she's challenging a system off it. And in doing so, she's exposing the Fever's biggest secret, their internal divide.
Take a look here.
And while all this explodes off the court, Clark's been under siege on it. Game after game, she's been hit, shoved, and elbowed, yet the whistles stay silent. May 24th versus Liberty, Natasha Cloud slammed into Clark mid-play, no call. Clark threw her hands up in disbelief. Sophie called it a failure of officiating, and coach Stephanie White finally snapped at the press conference, calling out the league's inconsistency. Refs are supposed to protect players, especially stars. Imagine Steph Curry or LeBron taking these hits with 0 consequences. Clark isn't just getting overlooked, she's getting targeted. And while fans scream for justice, the league shrugs. But now the pressure's building, and it's not just coming from the fans.
What the WNBA is doing with Caitlin Clark is the equivalent of the NBA doing this to Michael Jordan in 1986. It just doesn't make sense to me. You are biting the hand that feeds you. Mind you, without Caitlin Clark,
Coach Stephanie White couldn't stay silent anymore. At a recent press conference, she laid into the league's failure to protect its biggest asset. Her tone wasn't emotional, it was surgical. She said, "This would never happen to the NBA's top players." And she's right. If LeBron took an elbow to the eye, ESPN would be running replays for a week. But Clark? She gets dropped, and it's business as usual. White isn't just standing up for her player, she's warning the league. If you want this momentum to last, protect the star driving it. And that message hit home. Fans, analysts, even rival coaches started echoing the same thing. This treatment isn't just unfair, it's dangerous. Let's go back to Sophie for a second. That now viral phrase, "you're literally dumb," wasn't just a roast. It was a warning. She wasn't just venting, she was exposing. She called out the WNBA for not valuing its biggest draw. She challenged teammates, execs, and anyone downplaying Clark's impact. The clip lit up TikTok, went viral on X, and has since become the rallying cry of Fever fans across the country. But more than a soundbite, it showed Sophie is willing to risk her own status to stand up for what's right. She's not here to play politics. She's here to make sure the league doesn't fumble the biggest opportunity it's ever had. Let's talk about that deleted account. When Kelly Kroskoff wiped her X profile clean, she wasn't just logging off. She was signaling full-blown panic mode. In today's media climate, silence is a message, and hers was loud. She knew the backlash was coming, and instead of owning it, she bailed. PR experts are calling it a major fumble. Fans are calling it cowardly. It's proof that the front office is not only overwhelmed, but disorganized. From minimizing Clark's role to failing to manage the locker room tension, this isn't leadership. It's collapse in slow motion. And when fans lose trust in the execs, rebuilding that takes more than a social media reboot. Behind closed doors, the Indiana Fever are crumbling under an identity crisis. On one side, you've got a once-in-a-generation player in Caitlin Clark, lighting up TV ratings, ticket sales, and national interest. On the other, a front office that seems unsure whether to embrace or control that momentum. Kelly Kroskoff's Apple comment wasn't just a slip-up, it revealed the internal struggle. Some execs want to turn the Fever into a brand-first franchise, where no one player is bigger than the logo. But fans? They know better. They're not showing up for a brand. They're showing up for Clark. And now, with Sophie Cunningham breaking rank and calling it out on her podcast, the cracks in Indiana's foundation aren't just visible, they're widening fast. Let's be clear, Sophie Cunningham's podcast rant wasn't some heat-of-the-moment explosion. Sources close to the team say it was planned. After hearing Kroskoff's tone-deaf remarks, Sophie sat down, hit record, and unloaded with receipts. She didn't just defend Caitlin Clark, she called out the entire system. The disrespect, the internal shade, the failure to protect the face of the league, nothing was off limits. Sophie knows the risks. Calling out your own team's leadership can end careers. But she did it anyway. Why? Because she sees what's at stake. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie, she's a movement. And letting that movement get buried under outdated front office politics? That's a mistake the league can't afford. Let's talk numbers. Caitlin Clark has driven over $15 million in ticket revenue. She's responsible for record-breaking viewership on ESPN and Amazon. Every away game turns into a sellout. And yet, she's treated like just another rookie. Elbowed, fouled, ignored by referees. Off the court, her team president compares her to an accessory. This isn't just bad management, it's historical ignorance. Imagine the NBA in 1986 treating Michael Jordan this way. The WNBA has a golden opportunity with Clark. But instead of building around her, they're acting like her rise is a threat. And that disconnect between value and treatment is fueling outrage far beyond Indiana. This is a league-wide moment, and the clock is ticking. And where is the WNBA leadership in all this? Nowhere. While fans, players, and coaches sound the alarm, the league stays silent. No statements. No protections. No accountability. Caitlin Clark is the engine driving this explosive growth, and yet the very system she's elevating refuses to have her back. If this were the NBA, Adam Silver would have been at that podium the same day. But in the WNBA, we get crickets. Even Steph Curry and LeBron James have subtly spoken up in support. But the league office? Silent. The message that sends to young athletes, to fans, and to sponsors? Dangerous. Because when your biggest star gets blindsided, and you look the other way, you don't just lose trust. You risk losing the future. If the league and execs won't speak up, fans will. There's a growing rebellion across social media, ticket lines, and even broadcasts. Fans are calling out the double standards, demanding transparency, and boycotting merch tied to execs they no longer trust. The message is clear: support Caitlin Clark, or lose us. Even sponsors are watching closely, because this isn't just about sports. It's about accountability. It's about how women stars are valued, or dismissed. And now that the Fever's front office has been exposed, the question isn't whether changes will come, it's how soon. The next few games? They're not just basketball, they're a referendum. And the fans? They're not backing down. Let's stop calling this a controversy. This is a reckoning. Caitlin Clark didn't ask to be the face of a movement, but she is. And as Sophie Cunningham put it, if you're not with her, you're literally dumb. The old WNBA system, quiet stars, corporate scripts, predictable marketing, is breaking. In its place, a new wave of raw voices, viral talent, and fans who demand real change. The Indiana Fever front office lit a match they can't put out. Now, they're scrambling. But it might be too late. Because Clark's star isn't dimming. It's getting brighter. And the pressure's rising on everyone who thought they could control that light. This is the moment. The next chapter's coming fast. Are they ready?